Welcome to Cord Cutting This Week, episode number 81, the show where we give a deep dive into some of the most interesting stories happening in the world of cord cutting from the past week, and the ones I think that will be most influential going forward in the world of cord cutting. So if you want to learn more about these stories, again, I'll put a link to all of them down in the show notes down below, so you can click on them, read them for yourself, come up with your own opinions. I would really love to hear from you. If you're new here, hey, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we're doing here. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. Well, last cord cutting Q&A on this vacation, or cord cutting this week, I should say, on this vacation. I'll be back next week with our cord cutting Q&As and shows from the typical Cord Cutters News studio starting on Wednesday. So hang in here with me as we're going to be back next week. But let's dive into the stories. Father's Day is tomorrow. If you're watching this on Saturday or Sunday and you have not got a Father's Day gift yet, I got you covered. Don't worry. There are some great cord cutting Father's Day deals on streaming players and streaming services. I'll put a link to them down in the show notes. These include steep discounts on Roku players and Amazon Fire TV players. Stars, again, extended their sale if your dad likes movies. 3 months of Stars for $5 each. $15 gets him 3 months worth of movies. Not a bad deal, honestly. Stars has some decent content there. I'll put a link to all this down in the show notes. Using those links does help Cord Cutters News stay going, so check those out if you're looking for a deal on a streaming player. Even if you're not buying for your father, maybe buy yourself something for Father's Day. Streaming players and streaming services, a full post of cord cutting deals in the show notes down below. Well, I wanted to dive into some popular questions I got throughout the week, some issues that came up, and some of the comments I see a lot here. And one of them was, why is it when some people have a service out, it works for me? This was very prevalent on Thursday when PlayStation Vue went down. The entire Sony PlayStation network was down for a little while and took PlayStation Vue down. But some people reported, hey, it's working fine for me. Why does it work for me and not others? Fake news. I always hear that. This is fake news. That's not really happening. Well, it is. So a couple of things you need to understand about streaming is there's multiple servers set up across the United States that gives you access to a ton of different content from different servers. So if you're in California and I'm in Texas, we're probably not streaming from the same server. This was very evident during the Google, YouTube TV outage and other services. On the East Coast, they had some servers become overwhelmed. Their rollover procedure, which would have rolled that traffic over to other servers, for some reason failed. And they were just overwhelmed and couldn't keep up, and it took out their server. But a couple things. Some people were in already, right? So it was not allowing new people in, but if you were in, you were live. And if you were connected in California, you were live. We saw this again on Thursday with PlayStation Vue. They had an outage, but for some reason, Apple TV, which runs off a different set of servers, stayed up. It was people using other devices, including their websites, were down. So there's a lot of things to remember. With live TV, they don't have as many servers, so it's more common to have a wide mass blackout than it is with like Netflix, because Netflix puts servers everywhere. They have partnerships with ISPs and different places to host servers all across the United States. With live TV, it's a little bit more complicated. You're not preceding a lot of live content. And that's why you have outages. But if you think about this like cable TV, right? If there's a cable outage in a particular town, it doesn't mean a nationwide outage. That one town could be completely out of Comcast or Spectrum or Cox or whatever cable provider you have, but the network across the country will be just fine. So it is important to remember that just because you have an outage doesn't mean everybody does. And just because you don't have an outage, it doesn't mean everyone else has service at that moment. Because there's so many issues. Again, one of the things people need to remember is the server that manages the menus and the server that manages the stream are typically two different servers. So for instance, if you're in a stream and you're streaming, you could be fine. But if you back out and try to load another one, you could find it not working. So I hope this works. I really wanted to try to explain this. I think a lot of people, when it's explained to them, understand. Because we do hear those, oh, this is fake news, Luke's making it up comments. And it's not. I just wanted to really take a moment and explain the fact that there's multiple servers that can be down. And there's, even when you're in, it could be that the menu of changing channels is down, but the actual streams are fine. So just keep that in mind. There's so many different layers when it comes to streaming that can be quite complicated. And trust me, it's all stuff I had to learn the hard way. as we try to keep on top of it and understand it, we'll be posting as best we can over at corecarsnews.com. If you find an outage, send us a contact email. Go to corecarsnews.com, click on Contact Us, send us an email. We appreciate your tips. All right, HDHomeRun is coming to select Roku players or Roku TVs. Was a story we ran earlier this year or this week, and when we broke the news that Silicon Dust, the parent company behind HDHomeRun, was planning on launching a Roku app to allow you to stream their device on Rokus. Good news, it's out, and it's out for a lot more devices. Originally announced that it would only be for Roku Ultras and Roku TVs. Once they went live, they found out it was working on pretty much every Roku with a 9.0 or higher update, which is the vast majority of Rokus right now, made since like 2012 and forward. So if you are a Roku owner, the HDHomeRun is a great device. It takes your antenna and you plug your antenna into this HDHomeRun, connect it to your internet through an Ethernet cable, and it streams out throughout your entire home, and even outside your home. Now, it's been out for some time, and there has been workarounds that would allow you to get on Roku, like having a Plex server connected to your Plex server and having your Plex server stream to Roku. Well, now you can go direct. You don't need any of these other devices, especially now that they're having an all-in-one DVR come out later this year, which is a great option. So keep a close eye on this. If you are an HDHomeRun fan and you've been thinking about getting a Roku, it's available in beta. Now, you do need a particular code. You need to go in and add this code into your Roku profile to add it, because it's a beta. They're using this for testing for when the Roku channel store will eventually add it so they can work out the bugs. They've already found some bugs. They've added improved support for Roku TVs. I saw them posting on Twitter that they rolled out that update. So check it out. If you have a Roku TV, you may need to go into your Roku settings, run system update to make sure you have the most recent HDHomeRun app. It takes like 30 seconds. Go settings, system update, run it, and you're good to go. It will update all your Roku channels with available updates. Of course, it will also try to update when you're not using it, and just keep that in mind. But I'll put a link to that down in the show notes where you can add the HDHomeRun to your Roku. I'd love to hear if you are an HDHomeRun owner who's used the new Roku beta channel. Leave us a comment. I would really love to hear what you think of it. Next up, PlayStation Vue. I really wanted to talk about this with the PlayStation Vue notice. So PlayStation Vue deals with AMC, Discovery, NBC, and Turner are all ending this month. I did find a lot of people read the title and didn't read the story. Yes, their contracts are all ending this month. Sony has posted it on their website. We include a link to Sony's website where they clearly say these are the ones that the deals are ending. But that does not necessarily mean you're going to experience a blackout. These deals often end. It is a lot of deals at once to be renewing. So Sony has a couple more weeks to renew all these deals, or you will see blackouts. It's very possible that everything but maybe one of the deals would renew because they're all individual contracts. So we see this all the time. AT&T's been going through this with Viacom and A&E Networks recently were the big profile ones. And we'll have to see what happens. Now, it is very interesting that Sony gave us a heads up because they do have a history of not doing that. When the NES Regional Sports Network, and I get it, if you don't live in the New England area, you probably don't care about NES, but guess what? Could have been your sports network too, was pulled. Now, they say AMC, Discovery, NBC, Turner are ending this month, and NFL Network next month. I do expect them to renew most, if not all, these deals. But this goes back to the importance of reading a story. It's impossible to have a title give you the entire context of a story. But we're going to continue to do our best to keep on top of these. So if you want to read more, you want to read Sony's statement about this potential contract negotiation and potential outages, I'll put a link to it down in the show notes. But keep in mind, a lot of these services are coming up on 2 or 3 years old. This is the time where typically contracts are renewed. Often services get short-term contracts when they first launch. If it doesn't work out, there's a short-term contract, not a lot of issues there. So we'll have to wait and see what Sony does, how much of a renewal they'll get, and we'll wait and see. Sony has kind of put their foot down on some prices recently. We see that with them dropping NES. We'll see. They also did raise their price, I believe, within the last year or so. So maybe they have a little bit of negotiations room there. We'll wait and see. But a lot of these, there's some pretty heavy hitters there. AMC, Discovery, NBC Universal, Turner Networks. It will be interesting to see. On the flip side, Turner, owned by AT&T, AT&T's been playing hardball. Maybe AT&T will be the problem here. It may have nothing to do with Sony. AT&T could be the ones playing hard to get and not willing to give them a good deal. We'll wait and see. So keep a close eye on this, and I will be too. But always remember, when you see a story, read the full thing. Just because their contracts are coming to an end isn't a 100% guarantee that they won't be back on PlayStation Vue. All right, last story of the day. I really wanted to go into this one again because a lot of people had questions and concerns about it. Dish is reportedly is threatening lawsuits against IPTV subscribers. Long story short, Dish and Bell, which is out of Canada, has a deal with, or a joint partnership, you should call it, and I have confirmed that by Dish, with a company called Nagristar. I hope I pronounced it. They run satscams.com, a website and a group that was best known for going after users and sellers of devices that would allow you to get like Dish satellite without paying Dish. They used pirated or copyright broke meters there that would allow them to go and say, hey, buy this device, watch Dish content without having to pay Dish. Well, they've now transitioned this over to targeting IPTV subscribers, and they're getting very aggressive about it. And I would expect more and more of this in the future. Be interesting to see what happens in the months to come, because there are several lawsuits that Dish has been a part of targeting pirated IPTV services. Now, not everybody who uses the term IPTV is a pirate, but a lot of them are. A lot of these, the term IPTV has kind of become synonymous with the idea of, 3,000 channels for $10-20 a month, and you're going to get things like HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, NFL Sunday Ticket. So that one should be a big red flag, because only in the United States, DirecTV at this moment has rights to sell NFL Sunday Ticket. So keep that in mind. So I would say, though, with this, we'll have to wait and see. Now, what they have said in the past is when they go after these companies, they often want the customer list also. And when you supply them your credit card information, they can use that to try to backtrack on you. Even if you try to use a VPN and other ways, that's what they're doing. They say basically when they'll send you a warning letter, a certified warning letter, and they'll ask for a payment upfront. Like, hey, we won't sue you if you agree to pay. It's like $3,000 some dollars. It's like $7,000 some if they think you were selling this service. They do warn you, and law firms, I am no lawyer, but I have seen some law firms basically say, we highly suggest you do not ignore these letters. Dish's group here has been saying, hey, we will continue. If you do not respond, we will recommend you to our law firm for legal action, which seems to be lawyerese for a lawsuit. There are several legal firms out there that specializes in defending against the satscams.com lawsuits. This is very popular. Now they're moving into IPTV. There was one called Rocket IPTV, I believe it was called, where they went after those customers. Found it very interesting that Vader, which recently shut down and, quote, promised to protect their customers' data, they shut down saying that suddenly and raised the question, was their group going after them? Well, if you go to satscams.com, the top story on their website is about Vader, which makes you wonder if they had threatened the Vader company, which made Vader shut down, and Corner Vader tried to destroy all the contact information there. So very interesting. Couple things with IPTV. We're all adults. You go do whatever you want. My goal here is to supply you information. 2, if you do get these letters, don't trust the legal experts online. Get your own research. Do your own information. That's my one and only recommendation for these kinds of situations. We saw a lot of people say, hey, I just threw that stuff in the trash. I don't care. You know what? You're an adult. You go do that. I'm just saying, I'm not a lawyer. Don't ask my opinion. If you have lawyer questions, get a lawyer. So that's it. I wanted to kind of dive into that. As always, we saw this with things like torrents and LimeWire and all these other places. These companies want their money. Dish owns the right to that content. If you're using, and if they use Dish as content, or Dish owns exclusive rights to some content in the United States also. If you're using a service that offers that, it seems like they want to go after you. When you look at like Set TV, which is currently going through lawsuits, according to reports, they had more subscribers when they were shut down than Fubo TV did. They were making millions of dollars a month, or at least in revenue coming in. I'm not sure what their profits were. I have no idea. But they're bringing in millions of dollars every single month. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with this down here. What happens, are other companies going to jump on board? If Dish continues to be successful, I would not be surprised at all if they continue to push forward and go after more and more. Now, there are probably some lawsuits we don't even know about happening right now. It would be interesting to see what happens in the months to go. But often we heard the idea that if these services shut down, I'll just go somewhere else. And that's what seems to be changing. I hope I answered all the questions on there that have come up on these stories. I do my best to read all the comments here. I reply to some when I can. Unfortunately, especially when I'm traveling this week, it's hard to do that. But keep the comments coming. I do read them. And I do respond to some. And I'm going to try to respond to more and more of the more common questions when it comes to these weekly core cutting Q&As. So I can look back through the week and say, hey, this particular video with these stories had a lot of questions or concerns about them. I'm going to try to address them. I'd love to know your feedback on that and hear from you. Do our best to try to give you as much coverage as possible in the world of core cutting. So thank you for your support. Have a fantastic Father's Day, no matter what you may be doing. I hope it's either great in memory of parents or time with parents, or maybe just some time out enjoying a beautiful Sunday, hopefully. Take care, everybody. I will see you on Monday. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it.